background here. Hey, everybody. I am in Miami, but the show must go on. I did a little talk this morning with Kathy Wood and Tiffany Zhang, who is doing an NFT platform for community. So that was very interesting. I had at the pre-money conference, Kathy Wood managing 65 billion and buying stocks. And then on the other side, a founder who's, I think she was 24 or 25 years old, creating a platform for NFT holders to come in and be in a chat room and have a calendar and all that kind of stuff, and eventually organize wallets and stuff like that. So imagine like you were able to log into your Slack or your Discord with your wallet, but you had to show your NFT to get in. So it's kind of an interesting concept. NFTs are becoming sort of like, or some of them, like the Bored Ape Monkey Club, and I think people are aspiring to make these into like a country club. So I hear Kevin Rose and talking about that, and the idea would be if you buy the NFT, Kevin will just keep adding value to it in your country club membership, which might be like being in a secret chat room with them, just like member benefits on Patreon. But your NFT unlocks it. So it's almost like that's your key card. It's kind of corny, but maybe it's endearing. It's an interesting experiment. I think the NFT stuff as a country club is not super interesting to me. The NFT stuff as a way to manage your rights around a piece of art or a photograph or music and MP3s, that's where it gets interesting. So if you get the royalty payments based on the MP3 you bought, that could be super interesting. Somebody, Marie is like, hey, how much did it cost Jack to get the name Block? I don't know if does he have block.com? You're saying the domain name? I don't know if he got the domain name block.com, but it's an interesting name for a company. That's actually the first story we're going to talk about. Okay, so here we go. I have my QuickTime running.
QuickTime's good, right? I was just going to double check.
5 minutes. I know you're going to double check. Anything else on the checklist we need to go over?
No, you're pretty good to go. There's one chart on here that is about
I saw that.
Google Trends, Cash App versus Venmo over time. I think it's really
incredible. Yeah, super. All right, 3, 2. Okay, everybody, in our first story, Square has rebranded to Block to align itself with cryptocurrencies and obviously the blockchain. You remember on Tuesday's episode, we covered Jack is stepping down as the CEO of Twitter. And I mentioned, hey, he's likely to put more effort into his passions, which are Bitcoin and the blockchain. And here we go. I think perhaps Twitter and Square, because they both logically could pursue cryptocurrency features, we're maybe going to start overlapping. And then you'd have to think, well, when Jack has a new idea as CEO, which company does it go to? Does it go to Square or does it go to Twitter? I just saw on Twitter, they were going to do NFTs in your wallets and verify that if you're going to use an NFT of the Bored Ape Yacht Club or whatever hipsters or lions, you would have to actually prove that you had that NFT to put it into your profile picture, I think was the idea. I'm not sure where they are in executing that, but there's no reason that Twitter could not turn everybody's account into a wallet and then start accepting crypto, distributing crypto, and go head to head. And Twitter should obviously have a payments platform, which would then put it heads up against the Cash App. So that was probably one of the things that led to Jack giving up the CEO seat. New technologies emerging. You have Square at scale and you have Twitter at scale. Where does the CEO put its next idea? Pretty obvious that that's going to be a bit of a conflict going forward. So great idea for Jack to pick one, and he controls more of Square and has a bigger interest in Square. And Square has obviously got a massive lead when it comes to finance. According to the Wall Street Journal, Square holds $220 million worth of Bitcoin on its balance sheet. Pretty interesting, having your treasury partially in Bitcoin. A little controversial if I don't know what their total treasury is. Anything more than 5 or 10% of your treasury in an alternative asset would be considered super, super aggressive. Square will still keep the name Square for its merchant services business, which makes sense since it's known and loved there. Those are the little card readers you see at delis and coffee shops, or the POS system, which means point of sale, not piece of anything else. Just so we're clear about what POS means. The first time I heard that in a meeting, they were like, we're making a POS. I was like, really? I think you guys should give yourself credit for making a really good product, not a POS. And they're like, point of sale, right? I was like, oh yeah, that's what I meant. So Block is going to represent the suite of tools that Square has. And if you don't know, Square also has the Cash App, which has become an absolute juggernaut. We'll get into that in a moment. But that lets you send money, crypto, and stocks to other people. Square obviously does payments for small businesses. They have Afterpay, which is, buy it now, pay later, competes with Affirm. And he bought Tidal from Jay-Z. You may have seen the photos of Jack, I think, vacationing with Jay-Z at different points in time. Maybe they were doing the deal at that point. Not sure how Tidal plays into all this, but you could imagine with NFTs, Jack making a play to have music rights in Tidal, NFTable or lyrics be able to be purchased as part of NFTs, et cetera, et cetera. So it's in a way the continuing trend of people who own collections of assets, giving them a new name as an umbrella company. Alphabet obviously owns YouTube, Google, Android, go right down the line. Now Zuckerberg has Meta for their collection of products. And it does let you signal to the market, hey, we are going in this new direction. In fact, Tesla used to be called Tesla Motors. They dropped the motors. They just call themselves Tesla now because they're obviously doing solar, battery packs, etc. So if you look at Block's ticker symbol, it's going to stay SQ for Square for now. Square shares were down 3% on the news, but that's probably a result of the overall market being down at that same time. So I wouldn't attribute that. We'll see over time. I think Square is a juggernaut. I do own some shares in Square, full disclosure. That I got from being in a venture firm that had invested in Square. I was an LP in that venture fund. I don't trade stocks, to be totally honest. Although my wife did buy a bunch of Roblox, which doubled. So good on my wife. Congrats to her. She was like, I think we should buy Roblox. I was like, I'm not so sure about that one, but go for it. Yeah. And she went for it. And
Trader Jade.
And my wife, Trader Jade, is crushing it. She also made the Bitcoin trade. She was like, I keep hearing about this Bitcoin and you're talking about it. And these other people in our family are talking about it. Should we buy Bitcoin? I was like, yeah, sure. And that's a 7-figure asset she's got in terms of percentage increase. Even with my Uber, even with my Robinhood, literally my wife is in the top 10 appreciating assets in our joint portfolio.
She's like a 5,000x.
It's she's not quite at 5,000x, but yeah, 500. It's pretty great. So Cash App subscriptions and services revenue grew 35% year over year, and in Q3 was $474 million. So Cash App is extraordinary. That comes from Cash App card fees, instant bank deposits, which they charge 1% to 3% on. And Square overall is going to generate over $16 billion in revenue this year, 2021. They lost a little bit of money. Essentially, they're at break even. They lost like just under $3 million in Q3. And their current market cap is $87 billion. I think that this company could go 10 to 20x in the coming years with Jack focused solely on it. So I am super long Square. I'm not going to sell any more shares of it. I think I sold half of my shares when it was at like $72 a share, because that was my previous plan. When I got equities, I would sell half, keep half. Now my plan is maybe sell 10 or 20% and keep the rest. So you do have to have some sort of plan. And as time goes on and I build a bigger book of business, I'm selling less in the companies that I think are going to be here in 10 years. And Square, I put in that category with Uber and Robinhood. Square will be more important companies in 10 years than they are now. And so I'm all in on that. If you look at Square's price to sales ratio since late of 2016, they're trading at 6 times, which I would put in the reasonable category. You can see it peaked up at 12. People got a little excited about the product. And one of the things I noticed was there were these always Cash App trending on Twitter. So Jack, knowing Twitter market, I think that those Cash App trends were, his company Square being able to understand how to use Twitter really well, but that could also have the appearance of impropriety, even if it's not impropriety. And I'm sure it's not impropriety, but that is another one of those issues. If you keep seeing the Cash App and Cash App, sweepstakes and other marketing on Twitter, it just creates this appearance that maybe Jack or the Square team is using Twitter to build another business. And I'm absolutely saying here that's not true. They would never do anything unethical. Absolutely not. In fact, they would do things that were way above board because they would also be aware of the appearance of impropriety. But this is one of the things I train first-time founders. If there's an appearance of impropriety, the public interprets it as impropriety. So never have the appearance of impropriety. What's an example of this? I don't know. The founder goes on vacation and speaks at a conference. Okay, they spent $5,000 going on vacation or going to the conference. They brought their family. Who paid for what? You got to be really careful with this stuff. Or anyway, that's a perfect example. And so you just always want to be careful with the appearance of impropriety as a founder. It's very, very, very dangerous to have shareholders think that you might be using one asset to grow another or your own personal bank account. So you just got to be really careful with that. And I think that was what was becoming untenable, or potentially down the road would be untenable, is for Jack to be making decisions about cryptocurrency opportunities for both companies. This is super obvious to everybody. Here's something my crack research team, and man, do I have some great producers on this podcast who work really hard to make me look smart. So shout out to our producers. You can reach them anytime, producers at thisweekinstartups.com. And they saw this trend from 2017 to 2020. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thisweekin, you would see this video. And it shows the United States from May to June of 2017 and the words Cash App and Venmo in terms of searches. And you have but one lone state that's blue, and blue is representing Cash App, and the rest of the country is red, Venmo. And then you look at like 2018, and you got about 20% of the country in the states are blue and the rest are red, and so on and so forth until you get to May, June of 2020. And now it's, almost 50% of the country seems to be searching for Cash App over Venmo. And this comes from somebody who tweeted this: at 6 times price to sales with the founder authority and a great business, is Block a good value? Will it be a juggernaut? I think so. I don't tell people to buy stocks. I don't give financial advice, but I will tell you, I am not selling a share of Square as long as Jack is running the company. I think it's a stock I would want to own for the rest of my life. And I turned 51 last week, so hopefully that's, a couple of decades I got left. I am telling you right now, I have no plans to sell a single share of Square as long as Jack is running the business. I think that highly of him as a visionary founder. He could be quirky. Sure, you might, not see him on TV all that much, but having met him and talked to him many times in the early days, I was always very impressed with his product insights and vision. And congratulations to him on getting super focused on crypto. I think his best days as an entrepreneur are ahead of him. Also, what a great couple of days I've had for my ego on Twitter, because Spotify Wrapped, which is a yearly recap of users' listening habits, dropped yesterday. The app shot up to #1 in the App Store due to this crazy virality. If you don't know what it is, they basically tell you your top 5 most listened to artists, songs, and now podcasts. And they have done this in this incredibly elegant, shareable slideshow. So every year, people share their results on Twitter and Instagram. I would share mine, except it's all BTS and Katy Perry, and then Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits and Pink Floyd, because we're on a shared account, and my daughters are listening to BTS and Katy Perry, and I'm listening to Dire Straits and Mark Knopfler and Pink Floyd. Or at least that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. I'm not listening to BTS. But here's a 12-second clip of producer Nick, the great producer Nick, Spotify Wrapped, showing his 5 most listened to songs. Take it away, everybody. 2 for Tuesday here.
No, it's not playing. You're just talking over it.
And so here is the songs that Nick loved. His #1 song coming in at, what does it say? I can't read it. It's too small.
So you don't have to read the songs. It was just to make a point that this is what
I know. But I like the idea of reading your songs. All right, coming at you. Here's Nick's top 5 songs on a Z Morning Zoo Gecko Overdrive radio edit. Love Tonight by Shouse. Hippies featuring To Another. Guru. Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest. I don't know any of those artists.
Dancing in the Moonlight for sure.
I know Dancing in the Moonlight by Van Morrison, but is this a cover, Nick?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I've never heard the original.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe you don't even know. But anyway, this gives tons of free viral advertising. People want to share this because it speaks about them. It lets them peacock a little bit and show what they're into. But the great part of this was and kudos to my besties on All In, as well as my team here, Matt, Jamie, Jackie, Nick, Charles, Rachel, and Justin, and everybody who helps with This Week in Startups. I was getting just flooded the last 48 hours with people who had All In and This Week in Startups in their top 5. Not one, but both of them. And this was just incredibly heartwarming to me to know that people were listening to thousands and thousands of minutes of those two podcasts. Just absolutely fantastic. And what a great, great idea this was for Spotify to do this. And again, if you just want to look at how effective it is, the Spotify is the number one free app in Apple Store, ahead of TikTok and YouTube, which obviously are juggernauts. And if you compare their rankings to last week, they were between 11 and 16 overall. So probably if you're a founder listening to this, I wonder if there's, if you're a consumer facing app, what yearly recap you could do to create some viral marketing. I wonder, if calm.com could do meditations or Robinhood could do top trades, but it's so well done that I was absolutely impressed. Now, I don't think Instagram should do this because, or Twitter, because it would just show how addicted people are, and it'd be quite embarrassing to share exactly how many minutes I spent on Twitter last year instead of finishing the book. But, Fitbit or Fitbod or your Apple Watch talking about your year, or Peloton in terms of health, yeah, that would be something they would share. And so congratulations to Spotify. Finally coming around third base here. Friend of both pods, Brad Gerstner's SPAC for Grab went public today. If you don't know, Grab is based in Singapore. It's basically Uber for Southeast Asia, ride-sharing, delivery, and payments. They're the market leader, obviously. Raised $4.5 billion in this deal that valued the company at $40 billion. They're at a $628 million run rate, so that's a nice, healthy multiple. They have 22 million monthly users, so they're a fraction of the size of Uber, but obviously a pretty big business there. And this is the largest public debut ever, according to our research, for a South Asian company, 30 times larger than the previous record set at 1.2 billion by an Indonesian satellite company, according to CNN Business. And Uber obviously has a nice slice of the company because Uber was competing with Grab. They were also competing with Didi in China. They were competing in Russia. I forgot the name of the company there. And instead of competing in a race to the bottom of discounting, Uber made a really smart move to partner with Yandex in Russia, Grab in Southeast Asia, and Didi, creating just well over $10 billion, I think, in value. So let's move on now that we're through the news. And you get to meet 3 investments I made through our Accelerator. This is from our 23rd class of the Accelerator. We give people $100,000 for 6% of their company. We tend to invest in the companies after they graduate. If they grow, we'll make 4, 5, 6 bets on them, like we did with Grin, which became a unicorn, or Blockable, LeadIQ, CafeX. Many great companies have come out of our Accelerator. And we spend 16 weeks with them, introducing them to hundreds of investors, helping them with their pitch, helping them with their company, helping them with growth. And the Accelerator is just one of the great joys of my life. I'm so happy that we created it, and we want to keep building it. And now it's 100% virtual. We used to have people be required to come to San Francisco for at least 10 of the 12 weeks because everybody wanted to come to San Francisco back then and meet all the investors here. Now it's 16 weeks, 100% virtual, so you can do it from anywhere. We like to have people who have a couple of customers, pre-seed round, their Series A, and who want to raise that first seed round of $500,000 to $3 million. That's kind of our sweet spot. So you come, we introduce you to everybody, and you're going to see we really like to focus on founders who build great products and have product velocity. What's product velocity? Very simple. It means that your product is improving every couple of weeks, and you see that growth. The teams with product velocity, that means they're going to delight customers, or the chances of delighting customers increases because they're trying new things with their product consistently. Not constantly, consistently. 2 very different things. You want to consistently improve the product and share those new features, look at the data, and iterate on your product. So product velocity, that's something you really want to think about establishing very early in your company. If you look at a great product in the world, whether it's YouTube or owning a Tesla or Google search, they just every couple of months, some new feature would be added to it that would make users delighted. So without further ado, let's meet some Launch Accelerator founders.
Great. 2 quick punch-ups for you before the intro.
Okay.
One of them, the company from Russia, was Yandex. Justin
I said that. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And
then here's one. I just think you should mention this, that the Spotify Wrapped is like an insane engineering undertaking. I'm highlighting over it right now.
3, 2, but it is a massive engineering undertaking for a company with as much user data as Spotify has. Think about it. Here's a quote from Spotify's engineering blog. In 2018, the Wrapped campaign data pipeline had one of the largest data flows jobs ever run on GCP. That's Google's cloud platform, the contemporary to Amazon Web Services, which resulted in limits around the amount of data we were able to shuffle. In other words, talk about a big data project, tens of millions of users, and then all of those minutes listened. So you need a lot of engineers to do this right if you have a lot of data, but seems like it would be worth doing.
Good. All right. Intro's ready to go.
Okay. Intro at the top. Here we go. Sip, sip, sip. All right. Hey, everybody. We have a great show for you today. I'm in Miami for NFT Basel, or whatever they're calling this thing. I just spoke at the pre-money event. And today on the program, I'm interviewing 3 founders that went through our Launch Accelerator that have invested in great companies. And one of them is in podcasting. One of them is doing an e-commerce search engine. And one of them is doing a no-code e-commerce platform. You're going to love all 3 companies. We talk about getting early product market fit and raising that first round from investors when you're just a 2 or 3 person company with an MVP or a modest product. And we're going to talk about securing the bag. But first, some news. Square is rebranding as Block, and Jack Dorsey is back in the headlines. I love the stock. I own the stock. I'll never sell the stock if Jack Dorsey is running the company. That's my belief, is that he's a great entrepreneur and his best days are ahead of him. And then Spotify's Wrapped came out yesterday, and it is absolutely flooding social media. We'll talk about the genius of that growth hack. Finally, a friend of the All In Pod and the This Week in Startups Pod, Brad Gerstner's SPAC Grab went public today. It's the largest public debut of a South Asian company. So congratulations to him and the team at Grab. We'll talk about that. Stick with us.
Good. Now, one ad read. We can do it offline if you want.
No, I'll do it online. Everybody.
Online, okay.
I didn't say hi to my noties. Somebody read off the top 5 noties while I get my notes.
Okay, hold on. I got to scroll up high.
Scroll up high.
Nikita Kozlovsky, Baldo Granados, Joe Chidari, Frank Galanda, and Brandon Francis.
All right, welcome, noties. Everybody's a great notie here. Okay,
we're gonna have another Intelak situation here. Data IQ,
like Haiku.
Data IQ.
Yeah. I know Data IQ.
Okay, and this is a completely verbatim read.
Oh boy, verbatim. Yeah. So for people who don't know, verbatim is like the Silicon Valley bank ads. They want me to read it word for word. Not an easy task for a typical podcast host, but easy for your boy J Cal. Here we go. 3, 2. The potential for positive change with AI is huge, but seeing that value is hard. AI-driven growth is about organizational transformation, not just technology. And many businesses struggle with bringing AI initiatives to fruition. That's where Data IQ comes in. Data IQ is the platform for everyday AI, systemizing the use of data for exceptional business results. At its core, Data IQ allows companies to leverage one central solution to design, deploy, and manage AI and analysis and analytics applications. And it's accessible to everyone, whether technical or on the business side. Data IQ also facilitates using pre-built components and automation wherever possible to streamline work processes, as well as consistent management and governance across teams and projects to create transparent, repeatable, and scalable AI and analytics programs. Visit Data IQ to learn more. That's DATAIKU.com, DATAIKU.com.
Nailed it. A+ for reading.
I mean, I think that was like, and you know what? I never read the ad. I just read it straight through. But you know what? It's also, Nick, I give you an assist here. You broke it up into the components really perfectly.
Thank you.
I do have to say the last from the
there's
bottom.
There's a massive compound sentence.
That is a massive compound sentence.
It is one of the longest sentences I've ever read in my life.
Here, I'll read it for you one more time. Check out this compound sentence, everybody. Data IQ Dataiku also facilitates using pre-built components and automation wherever possible to streamline work processes, as well as consistent management and governance across teams and projects to create transparent, repeatable, and scalable AI and analytics programs. That is like, if you had to put the commas in there, that's a really long compound sentence.
It's like a full paragraph sentence. It's incredible.
Those are, there are people who are great writers who do those. And the way you would break this up is, when you use like 3 ways to describe something, you notice they say transparent, repeatable, and scalable AI. And then they had and analytics programs. So you would probably try to break that up a little bit and try to make those points separately if you wanted to not have it be such a long compound sentence. It's hard for people to keep a compound sentence in their mind.
Yeah.
And so that's why people don't do it. But the reward is if you can keep it in your mind and it unlocks, you get a big unlock, right? So this is why when you read my book, it's a lot of short sentences, and then I'll do a compound sentence if I feel aesthetically that I want to, kind of get in people's head a little bit and make a big splash, as it were. I do that in the new book sparingly, but very deliberately, if that makes sense.
Check out this comment.
Oh, is there?
This is great.
Oh no. I can't read it. Let's see. Hold on. I'm losing my eyesight here.
I can read it for you if you want.
I got it. Jason is polite today. Either David Sack's boat sunk or his stocks are really up. No, I'm just delighted to be out and about in Miami. It was just great. I haven't been out.
You're off that Cafe Con Leche.
The Cafe Con Leche this morning, I got a double. That is like rocket fuel lava. I literally put the spoon in there. Nick, the spoon stood up. That's how much sugar was in there.
I know. I almost want you to move to Miami so that anytime I have bad news to give you, I'm just going to Uber Eats a Cafe Con Leche right to your door. Right.
Oh yeah, no, that's bad news. I mean, you gave me the toughest ad read of the year, and I just nailed it. The Cafe Con Leche. I think it's Cafe Con Cocaine.
Yeah.
Cafe Con Cocaine Leche.
Cafe Con Yayo. Yeah.
Cafe Con Yayo. Whoa, this is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much cocaine in this town. It's literally flying across the street.
All right.
The whole place is NFTs and cocaine everywhere. No, but it was really, I'll tell you what was very encouraging for people and for everybody on our team. I haven't been out at an event in a long time. There haven't been any events. And the absolute ascension of All In as a podcast is really just, I think maybe also in the last couple of months or even weeks, every single person who I met mentioned the All In podcast. And the number of selfies was like double what I would normally do. So it's just, when I come into an event as a speaker, like maybe a third of the room kind of knows who I am, is, arguably a fan or a consumer of This Week in Startups. Now it's gone to like 2/3 or maybe even 75%. I'd say 75%. So it was like layering a whole nother audience, or, it was like doubling. It's probably doubled my recognizability on the street or whatever. I got stopped on the street 2 or 3 times already. Just people asking to do a selfie, asking me like how annoying Sachs is, or whatever. A lot of people were like, I like when you stood up for yourself the last couple of episodes. You were right about DAOs, and you were right about Meta and Zuckerberg.
Rivian was the big one.
You were right about Rivian.
At least 20,000 stands from the DAO back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, that was me. That's me just straight up crypto pandering. I realize
if you back Shiba Inu, you'll pull $1 million.
What's that?
I said if you stand Shiba Inu, you'll have 1 million people in your DM.
Maybe I will stand Shiba Inu.
Yeah.
I don't know what
you
it is.
Might get a letter.
You
might get a letter from the SEC, but you will definitely gain.
I stand Doge. I own some Doge.
I own
some Doge. I'm down on my Doge.
Ironically.
I bought some Doge. I bought it ironically. I remember when I was with my friend in New York, and I was tweeting about buying Doge and how Doge was going to cure cancer. I still believe CBD and Doge, that combination. If you buy some Doge and you take some CBD, I think like you'll add like at least 5 years to your life, and it probably reduces the chances of most cancers. So for those of you listening, just to buy a little Doge and just rub a little CBD where you think you might get cancer, and you're good. But if you do just CBD or just Doge, you're going to definitely die of cancer. This is This is not investment advice. See, I mean, I cannot tell you the number of hippies and wacky people in my circle who, if you say, like, I've just heard a million conversations like, oh yeah, I got headaches, I can't sleep, I twisted my ankle. They're like, oh, CBD, got this kombucha, CBD, and I'm like, kombucha and CBD do not cure anything except for thirst and nothing. I mean, CBD cures nothing.
Placebo effect.
It's a complete placebo. I mean, there's literally no
real
evidence
thing though
that CBD does anything. CBD is the non-active part of cannabis, right? Is there any study? I have to wait till Molly Wood is here, and we could do a make me smarter about CBD. I don't know if you guys listen to Make Me Smarter.
I have
Kai
listened to a
Risdall
couple
and Molly
episodes.
Wood. I want to basically do that on the show when she gets here, which is just like we could do a Make Me Smarter where she talks about the subject and then I just goof off and make jokes. I think it would be kind of funny.
Have you there's a new, I don't know what it's called, but there's a new product where it has some psychoactive elements of marijuana and they are selling, but it's legal somehow to sell.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. There was also the Sylvia
Ricci, I think it's called, is the company that advertises it. But it's funny
crazy.
hearing their ads because they have like all these crazy disclaimers because people think it's CBD. So they're like, disclaimer, you cannot drive on this. This will get you high. Like it's so funny hearing advertisements like that.
There
like,
was some herbal thing that kids were smoking and they were selling it at like head shops, and those smoke shops.
Sativa?
Sativa. Sativa is a strain of cannabis.
No, I think it's
Salvia.
Salvia. And so I was literally
not a big weed guy, as you could tell.
No, you get work done. Justin, on the other hand, maybe.
I lived in California briefly.
Salvia, that's enough. Don't call HR. We don't have an HR department for a reason. Salvia. Did I say it correctly?
I don't know.
Anyway, this Salvia, I'm at a poker game. I kid you not. This is 10, 15 years ago. And this guy is like backing independent films. He's at Sundance and he's, hanging out with some Hollywood people I know. And we're at this poker game. And I'm like, how did this guy make all this money? Because he's losing so much money at this poker game. And, like he's backing like 2 or 3 different people who he knows, indie films or whatever. And the guy had made tens of millions of dollars. And they said he had a series of these, like he had bought a series of smoke shops and he had this Salvia drug. And this guy claimed, and he had some other one that was some other derivative. And he claimed it was not drugs, but he was selling it, claimed it was legal. And then the government came and were like, yeah, this is like MDMA or whatever it was. And they arrested him and he's in jail for 10 years. And I was like, whatever happened to that guy? He's like, oh yeah, you didn't. And then somebody sends me the link like, oh yeah, that guy's in jail. And he's like, no, it's totally legal. There's no law against it. And I was like, okay, interesting. He's like, yeah, you should invest. And I was like, yeah, no, I think I'll stick with apps. I think I'll stick with like apps like Robinhood and Calm and Uber. I like the app business. This is 15 years ago when I first started investing. I was like, I kind of like apps better. I think I'll stick to apps. I don't think apps will wind me up in jail. I know apps are not illegal. But if you're selling it in like a sparkly foil bag at a smoke shop with like a Grateful Dead mushroom, Alice in Wonderland theme, maybe not so much. All right, everybody. Great to see my noties. Anyway, this is why we do the Noti Gang gets to hear these random conversations, which are just not on the pod. Tell Chamath to announce IPOF. Tardy Noti. We got a tardy Noti in here. Oh boy.
Oh, I think I have something that might be of interest to everyone in the audience.
I met
Justin last night.
Oh, show the picture.
IRL.
You had an IRL for the first time. Was Rachel there too?
She was there.
What did Rachel get? She got the Metro North? Oh, whoa. She got Rachel?
Amber.
I've never met Amber. I've never met Rachel. I've never met Justin.
Delightful. All delightful people. Presh was there. Presh is in New York.
Amazing.
Preshy Poo, yeah. Nothing better than getting a big hug from Presh when you see him for the first time in 6 months. Great. Nothing better.
And so what did he do? He ordered an appetizer, went for an 8-mile run, and then came back and had dessert?
No. No, you'd love this though. We got so I met up with him beforehand because I'm like insanely insecure and I can't go anywhere by myself. So I'm like, Presh, meet me at like 6:45. He's like, all right. So we meet up at the place we went was near NYU. So we met up at this like little late night NYU coffee shop where all the kids were studying there. Got a couple iced green teas, nice. Sat down, caught
I
up.
love a little ice
Then we
cream
got
tea.
kicked out. The barista came over. He's like, "Hey boys, I'm closing early. Beat it." We're like, "Oh, okay." So then we walked to
Beat it. So what'd you do? You go down to Washington Square Park where there's like drum circles.
Yeah,
and
so it was
people
funny. We
doing
walked by
DJ booths?
Washington Square Park, and there was drum circles, and it just
I called it.
it
That's
just
what I would've done.
reeked of weed. Oh my god!
Washington Square Park is bedlam. Like I was watching it.
So funny. He's so innocent. He's like, "Wow, it smells crazy over here." I'm like, "Yeah, Washington Square Park, bro. It's bananas."
Oh, look at that. There's my team. My brother Jamie.
That's us.
There's Nick.
Jamie.
And is that
Savino.
Rachel? There's
Rachel
Uncle
is
Mike.
next to me.
Amber. And Presh.
Freshy Poo.
And Tom Selleck. A young Tom Selleck.
I've got a picture from the SF meet that's just been sent to me.
Oh, really? Pull it up. So anybody, we have meetups going on for founders by founders. Irina, who is just like such a delightful woman who is super supportive of This Week in Startups and everything I do.
Oh, big crew.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it's about 16 people. That's kind of the number I'm going for with these meetups. I want them to be founders, for founders by founders. I haven't been to any of the meetups yet, but I'm going to go in person to them because actually I think there's a Miami meetup happening while I'm down here. So I don't want to tip my cards on that one and say I'm definitely going, but I'm probably definitely going. And if you go to thisweekinstartups.com/meetups, we have some Notion pages set up. Rachel, is there a meetup next week for Miami?
She is not on the call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's stuck on a train right now, actually.
No problem. It's all good. So anyway, you guys can take a look at the meetups page and let us know if the Miami one is happening. And yeah, I just don't want to make this too big. So everybody wants to make it like big, and I want it to be small. I want it to be intimate. If it eventually becomes 50 people or 100 people, I think that's kind of the max I'm looking for. But only founders can go. By founders, for founders. Because what I found with these events is once you say founders are going to be there, then for every founder, you get 5 service people.
Yep.
A lawyer, accountant, real estate broker, headhunter. Nothing wrong with those professions, accountant, whatever. Just kills the vibe.
Miami is December 6th at 6 p.m.
I might be here. What day of the week is that?
Monday. But we have a podcast at that time, so I don't have to reschedule.
Oh. Wait, that's East Coast time. How can you have a podcast?
Because we had it 3 p.m. Pacific and you went to the
I could always show up for the end of it. They'll be
You could show up for the end of it.
Yeah, I'd show up for the end. It's actually better if I show up for the second half.
That is true. You don't want to be the first one there at your own meetup.
Yeah. It's not my meetup. It's for founders by founders.
Right.
That's why I'm trying to make it for founders by founders, so that people actually get value from going to it. And then eventually we'll sell out and have a national sponsor for it or something and then make it big. But for right now, I don't want it to be sold out. I want it to be small and people get to meet each other, have a conversation, talk about your startup. And, what problems are you struggling with? What problems am I struggling with? Maybe we could help each other. Maybe my startup can merge with your startup and we'll be co-founders. I don't know, just any of that kind of stuff. But we're going to start also tapping our network of 9,000 angel investors. So it'll be at the event number 3. We're going to invite our network of angel investors and early stage investors. They're going to wear a green wristband, and then founders are going to wear orange wristbands. So when you go to the event, what's that?
Why green?
Money.
Oh, that makes sense.
Money's green.
Yes, I was teeing you up.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I was like, wow, are you dumb? Are you dumb, son? I think I explained this 50 times.
I know, but you always say, and why are we doing green?
And why are we doing green?
Because green means money.
Because green means money. Money is green. So anyway, you're going to go to the event. They'll give you the rubber wristband, and then networking will be that much easier. And then eventually, we might allow other people to come to some events. If we do like a larger 200-person event, we'll sell some tickets or something. But we're going to also let the founder organizers sell tickets for $10 just to make sure people show up and don't burn the seats. So, and then they can use that $10 to buy drink tickets or appetizers or whatever. So I think $10 is nothing for a founder. And so even though I like doing free, I like the idea of people having a little bit of skin in the game. So if you put the $10 down, 20 people go, that pays for the pizza, burgers, whatever. I'm a business owner in a distressed community, and I'm trying to start an incubator here to help with revitalization. Your pods are very helpful to me. Oh, thanks for saying that. I got asked that question today on a call. I did a paid speaking gig today. And I don't do many of those, but I wanted to get the sales team a win. So I let them sell a paid speaking gig. It went well, all things considered. And somebody did ask me, like, do people just invest because they want to help their communities? And absolutely. And so if there's a community that's, like Detroit was kind of struggling a bit, and a lot of folks rallied and started investing in companies. It's one of the best things you can do, because if you get some company and it turns into a success and it creates 200 jobs, 300 jobs, that can be super meaningful. And then if it becomes a publicly traded company, maybe you get 30 millionaires to come out of that company, and if it gets bought, and now half of them go start companies and the other half become angel investors. It could be pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a couple of areas too. There's a couple of cities that are incredibly proud of their own startup communities, and they prefer to invest locally. I remember Ashley was telling me about this. She said Boston is one of them. Yes. Boston people love investing in Boston companies.
Boston people are all about Boston.
Yep.
To the point
and then, you think. And then Columbus, Ohio was another one. She said
did angel. What I did a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, is I decided we'd do an angel university tour. So we did 6 cities in 9 days. I did all 6 cities. Ashley did 4. Mike did 5. And we had 30 to 100 people in each city. And I enjoyed it. We broke even. We charged $500 a ticket or something. We had dinners every night. And now I do one event virtually, and I get as many people. We'll have 400 people at an event, and that was the whole tour. So virtual is good too. All right. Boise, Idaho. Yeah, that's a big one. I like all those. Oh, what is this a picture of? I can't see the picture.
Is that Justin evidently is watching. So. No, I think this was Nick was sharing some ideas, and I was writing them down.
Oh, really? Look at this.
We're brainstorming.
Ideation. I like it.
We were waiting for an Uber from the restaurant to Mike's wine bar of choice.
And what? Nick yelled, "Take a memo, Justin."
No, he had a book out, and I'm like, he had a notebook, and I'm like, oh my god,
looks like a legal pad.
But I'm like, but actually, what do you think about this idea? And we were talking about creating a Notion page called Rainy Day Fund, and essentially it's just a bunch of like segments that we could do anytime. They're timeless, just in case we're light on news or an interview falls through.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. It could be dad jokes.
That's where Rainy Day Fund got ideated.
And evidently the team watches the live streams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's good for productivity or what.
I don't mind. I mean, they're watching in the back. They're probably not watching. They're probably listening into it in the background.
Yeah.
And it's good. It kind of like gives another way for our team. I know a lot of the inside team does it too. It looks like our Republic is off to a nice start. I don't know if you can pull that up, but I think it's republic.co/inside. Is that the URL?
Yep.
Republic.co/inside. And I think we broke 50K. Oh my God, we're at 86K. 165 investors. So people are like, why are you doing this? Aren't you rich? It's like, well, I want people to participate. And so, we set a very modest goal. And if we get 250K or 2.5 million, whatever comes in, that's it. And we can keep it going for a little while. But man, I am really excited about my social news site being the part of the flywheel that connects the newsletters and the virtual events together. It's working. I'm going to have... My developers told me I might have something by Christmas to start playing with. So we locked down the design. Yesterday, I did a meeting with my designers and developers, and I'm really excited, super excited for this one. So if you want to back a JCal startup, only invest money you can afford to lose, go read the deal memo, and you can put $100 in. I don't mind if you want to place a small bet if you can afford to lose it. And it's good. I've invested a bunch of money in the company, and we had I'm really proud of the team's effort in terms of just high quality news. Go read the newsletters. They're really good. Took a while to get there. Like, no spin, just facts, like super efficient, make you smarter newsletters on 15 different topics. But I need to get them to grow. And the problem is there's so many newsletters. It's hard to grow newsletters today because people's inboxes are crowded. And it's not interactive, right? It's not like a platform. Like a newsletter is passive. The live events are a little more interactive, but I wanted something highly interactive. And we tried Slack. Slack just doesn't work. It works for if you're working during the day, but it doesn't work for building community to the way I wanted it to work. So I think more sites like Reddit or Hacker News, that model of threaded messages seems to be the modality that works better, because you can kind of jump into the conversation when it's 2/3 of the way through, when it's 1/3 of the way through, and still get a lot of value. So that's sort of what I'm going for here. And man, I'm excited. We'll do a meme one. Discord, yes. Just the problem is, I think if you're a video gamer or you're a kid and you don't have a job, or if you're into NFTs and you could be in Discord all day long talking about it, great. But for business people, they've already got a Slack they need to be on. So to be on another Slack, I don't know what you think of this theory, Nick. It's too much, because you've already got a Slack you got to take care of.
Yeah, I've heard this from a ton of people. I think everyone who's super into Discord and the NFTs and the Wall Street Bets Discord page will be like, "You're an idiot. Discord is amazing." And then all the people that are not on Discord are like, "Why would I open a Discord? Are you kidding me? I need another thing to be on every day." So there is a giant wedge right down the middle. And it seems like a lot of people are like, "Absolutely not. I don't need another thing pinging me. I don't need another 50 notifications a day." Yeah. And the other half is like, you Discord is the future. Everybody should be on there. But I do think that their UI needs a little. I guess it's great for gamers, but I do think it needs.
It's a gamer kind of UI. Tiny fonts, like really weird. Too many bells and whistles. It's like, it looks like
lots of bells and whistles.
It's like a Vegas arcade or something. I mean, it looks like a video game. It's too much. And as somebody's saying here, I think Justin's saying too much Slack is a real issue for those stuck in a host of Slack channels. Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, I run a Slack for the founders we've invested in, for launch, for Inside, an Inside Public one, and This Week in Startups one, and I have one for the syndicate. I have 6 Slacks for business. That's enough. It's too much, What is your advice for engineers currently in the U.S. on visas, H-1B, but who want to start a company? Thanks. Canada. Oh, Canada. They will let you in, and it's a great country. And then you can work on getting into America. I think Canada is just like a perfect. Go to Vancouver, go to Toronto, 2 world-class cities, more affordable. I don't know if Toronto is affordable, but there's plenty of affordable places there. And if you can't stay in the U.S., you can't stay in the U.S. I mean, we have to rethink this. I don't understand why we have back-to-back presidents on either party, and neither of them can come up with a reasonable immigration policy where smart people who are engineers can't come here. So dumb. Biden and Trump, dumb and dumber. Both of them are so dumb on immigration. It's such an easy, make me president, presidentjason.com. Somebody get that domain name, just presidentjason.com. I would solve immigration immediately. If you invest $10 million in startups, we'll give you a passport. Give us the $10 million, invest it in startups, and it's locked in for 10 years or whatever. Yeah, you can come here instantly. We give you and your family green cards. If the money stays invested for 10 years and you are not a criminal, let me background check you, we'll give you a passport. Like, I'll sell those. I'll sell $1 million a year. If everybody wants to come here, show up with some cash. What'd you say?
Jason, I thought that was a thing already.
Not really. They have a couple of like loopholes here and there in real estate investing, but no, it's not like an official thing. And then if you have a PhD or a master's in a degree that we need. In other words, if we need doctors, lawyers, we don't need lawyers. We need nurses. So if you're a nurse or you're a developer and we need that, you go to the front of the line. And, maybe you pay an extra $5,000 a year in taxes to get that green card. So, you or your employee have to pay a little extra to get that going. We get a little more tax revenue going here, right? Then that tax revenue from people who want to be in this country and who can make a lot of money in this country, that tax revenue goes to the compassionate dissidents who we want to allow in the compassionate immigration, and dissidents who would be tortured or otherwise prosecuted or persecuted in their own country. Persecuted, not prosecuted. I mean, they could be unjustly prosecuted, but persecuted is the right word. And then, so if somebody comes here and they're being persecuted and it's going to cost us money to make them a productive member, i.e., school, social services, they're going to be on the dole or whatever, some combination. that gets paid for by the people who bought their way in and who paid extra taxes to be here. I mean, let's turn this into a revenue center, people, and let's make it based on merit. Like, what can you add to this country? Are you going to go work at Tesla or Google or DeepMind? Like, are you in AI? And by the way, if you came here and you went to one of the great schools we have, you're going to get a green card with your diploma. You get that diploma, we'll staple a green card to it. If you are, going to stay here, we want you to stay here, right? I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why are we so stupid? So stupid, honestly, about immigration. It's so infuriating. It's not a difficult problem to solve. It's a very easy problem to solve. Everybody wants to come here. Let's let the people who add the most to our society come here and use their taxes to then underwrite the cost of the people who deserve to come here out of compassion for their leaving an authoritarian country. Thank you. Of course it's a great idea. And you know what? I give myself zero credit for my great idea. It's an obvious idea. It's just some stupid politics has got Trump and Biden all, I don't know, strung out on some stupid, like there's no border or there's a wall. It's like, it doesn't have to be a border or a wall. It has to be, what can you do for America to make us more competitive on the global stage so we spread democracy? The end. Right? I mean, what do you think? Rate my idea in the comments. What is it a good idea? 1 to 10? Generate revenue from people who deserve to be here, who are going to invest, who are going to add, and then use that money to underwrite the people who it's going to cost us $25,000 or $50,000 here to take care of them because of welfare or social services or education, and they're going to be a net drain for an X number of years, which all immigrants were a net drain for some number of years, right? I think when my family came here from Ireland or Sweden and Greece, like I'm sure we were a drain on society as we learned the language, but okay. Some people are going to be a drain and then their kids are going to be just insanely accretive to the bottom line. You have to think about this thing like economically, as well as fair, and as well as a business, period. Thank you, everybody. It's a great idea, but that's not what politicians want. They want call you racist for bringing it up. That's the thing, is like, I don't understand how it's racist to make it merit-based. Isn't everything in life merit-based? Like, and it's like we're not obligated to let more people into the country. Japan's not letting anybody into the country. Scandinavian countries have closed their borders. They have too many people who want to go to Scandinavian countries because they're so good to their citizens, such high-functioning societies. At a certain point, you got to say, listen, we can't accept any more people if we don't have the ability to make them successful in our country and integrate them into our customs and language and traditions and be functional, right? You need to have everybody become functional members of society. So I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like either I suddenly got brilliant or the people who we've elected are really fucking stupid. And I know I didn't get much smarter, so I think it's the latter. It's so simple to solve the homeless problem and the crime problem in San Francisco. If you want to stop crime, arrest the criminals and just drop the hammer on fentanyl and meth, and then be permissive about other drugs that don't make people insane. It's very simple, folks. And if you don't want people living outside, then go build a bunch of homes. If people do illegal things on the streets, you can say, hey, we've got micro homes just outside of the city, or in this non-premium downtown area of the city. You can go to that home and rehab, or you did commit a crime, so we might have to put you in jail for committing this crime. And if you were given that choice, jail, repercussions, housing, rehab, which one are you going to choose? I mean, any logical person, and listen, I'm not saying that everybody who's on fentanyl is logical, but I think, by the third time you've been arrested for doing something illegal, you're going to say, you know what, I'll take the house, and I'll take the micro apartment, whatever it is, and I'll go to rehab, because it's better than going to jail. I hate spitting facts. I don't mean to spit facts, Kevin. San Francisco is so deranged. Did you see these pictures, Nick, of the stores in San Francisco? I walked through Union Square the other night after the Hassan Minhaj show. They boarded up every window, but the stores are open. So it literally looks like it's like The Walking Dead. So everything's been boarded up, But then you peer inside and it's like, oh, the Chanel store's open. Oh, look, Prada's open.
Yeah.
But
you know what
you
it
have to
kind
go
of
inside.
reminded?
What it
You
reminded
know what
me
it kind of reminds me of is, you know how they could say like stats can lie, right?
Yeah,
And
of course.
the way it works for the NBA, right? There's PER, player efficiency rating. It skews heavily towards big men, right? So a couple of years ago, Hassan Whiteside, for example, he had like the third highest PER in the league, right behind LeBron and Steph Curry or whoever, Giannis or whoever it was.
He only took dunks and he was 60%
right.
shooting.
But so everyone was like, oh my God, he can look at his putbacks, look at his rebounds. He's a great player.
Yeah.
Turns out he was actually a really, really like the opposite of a winning player because he had a lot of blocks because he would chase blocks and he wasn't great on help side defense. So in a way, like his PER was this complete nonsense number that was just completely like totally taken out of context, totally wrong, not true, not a winning player, not a great player, whatever. That's kind of but everybody would be like, well, look at his PER. He's great. That's kind of what it was like living in San Francisco, where you'd walk around and you'd be like, I had friends that were like young women getting mugged, like on a relatively regular
like, there's
basis.
no crime. Crime is down.
And everybody's telling you crime is down. You're like, what the fuck are you talking? Dude, I live here. It's not. What are you talking about? Crime is down.
I mean, how could you sit with a straight face and say crime is down when they're shutting the CVSs and Wall Street?
It's infuriating. And I know I sound like a psycho right now, but living there and dealing with this shit every day and having people tell you, what are you talking about, dude? Crime is down. You're like, are you fucking crazy? Are you crazy?
No, it's people basically have stopped reporting. Like, what is the point of reporting a car break-in in San Francisco? It's like, your car was broken into. It's like, yes, along with 100 or 200 other people's cars in the last hour. Like, but look at this. Like, they're literally holding on to this narrative.
What are you talking about, dude? Crime is down. You're like,
crime is down.
God.
And why are the stores boarded up?
Like live here who's saying that? Do you live in the city? Because what?
I mean, and I don't know. Isn't Zara like a discount store? Like, is anybody doing a snatch and grab in Zara? I thought those were like $8 blouses and $14 jeans. Like, is Marshall's boarding up? Like, where they're shut down?
Yeah, and the sad part too is like, the people that get bagged on the most in San Francisco are like young men for the most part, or men in general. And the people that have the least to worry about are young men. The people that get hurt from all this crazy shit are old people and women, right?
Absolutely.
Like that's the really fucked up part. And specifically,
they're literally
old Asian
punching
people,
80-year-old Asian elders for no reason and like taking their like $8 from their wallet. It's like, really? Oh, somebody tell me to chill. Is Zara really sad? Somebody's saying Zara's fire. I wasn't aware. I don't know what Zara is. I see Zara.
It's a large discount clothing store. Not discount, but fast fashion.
Affordable? Oh, it's fast fashion. I know what fast fashion is. Fast fashion means they take something that looks great from Gucci and they make it for 10% of the cost.
Exactly.
Huh. But you're not fashionable at all, right, Justin?
Oh, what?
No.
That was
way.
Rude.
Definitely not.
I'm asking him if he's got any fashion sense.
No, very little.
So it's not like you're seeing stuff in GQ and then saying, let me get the Zara one in 6 weeks later.
Definitely
so
not.
You just have this as common knowledge, not firsthand.
I just get my clothes from my friends, basally. They're like, I'm done with it. I've had this for 2 years.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Are you swapping? I actually have a friend of a friend. Well, a friend of mine's girlfriend is basically obsessed with the fact that one of the major contributors to landfills and global warming and everything is disposable clothes or whatever. And so she only wants to buy secondhand clothes for the environment. And I was like, it's not possible for me to wear another person's clothes that have already been worn by another person. I can't do it. To me, it's like going to a buffet. Like, remember I said things I don't do? This is another thing on the list of things I don't do. Helicopters, buffets. What else don't I do, Nick? Helicopter buffets. Used clothes is now on the list.
Cruises
is on the list. I will refuse to go on a cruise. And then there's one more. I know what it is right now.
Sell Uber stock.
No, all you can eat sushi. Just not in my wheelhouse.
Nick earlier this week tweeted, I think I could eat unlimited sushi.
That's different.
But would you eat unlimited sushi from an all-you-can-eat sushi, or would you?
Have you been to all-you-can-eat sushi, Nick? Your mic's off. His mic's off.
I'm saying if I
Your
go
mic was
to a
off the whole
sushi
time.
restaurant, if I order sushi, I can eat. I've never eaten enough sushi to be full in my life. Same thing with ravioli. I could eat it all day. I've never hit a limit where I'm like, wow, that was too much sushi. I could eat 40 rolls of sushi, I think.
Okay, yeah. Sushi is, I was like that in my early days of sushi. It was just like you would eat sushi, be hungry an hour later.
I can just eat it forever. Like I can never stop. And same thing with raviolis. So,
but you would still never go to an all-you-can-eat sushi place. Have you ever been to one?
No.
I went to one once in college. Like everybody was going and I went. And the way it worked, have you been to one, Justin?
No.
Well, okay, so there's a rule. Whatever you order, you have to eat. If you don't eat it, you have to pay for it.
I love that.
So if you order another roll, if you don't finish the roll, they put it on your bill. So you can't like order, like, give me 5 spider rolls and then eat 2 of them. So they bring it to you as you go. I don't know if they ever do that. And you have to eat the rice. So they don't do sashimi. So you can't just pick because that's what I was doing. I would eat like half the rice and they would make this huge globules of, I was like, this is the rice ratio to sushi's off. So they're trying to fill you up on the rice. If you leave rice, you have to pay. I was just like, I don't want to be in a negotiation with you over.
I have a half-baked idea for you, Jason. I tweeted this earlier today, but I guess it's more of it's not really half-baked. It's pretty much done. You know how like the 30 for 30 list is 30 under 30 is coming out soon?
Oh, the worst.
I have a little bit of a remix on that I want to run by you.
30.
Nope. Ready?
50 over 50.
90 over 90. We get 90-year-olds, 90 plus year olds, and we just ask them shit about like World War II and
I love
like McCarthyism.
I love it.
And like
I love it.
I saw the Beatles in 1968, like New York in the 70s. 90
is brilliant.
I know.
If they
It'd
can
be
remember
way
anything.
more interesting than 30 under. Who gives a shit about 30 under 30?
30 under 30 is meaningless. I made those lists and we literally made those lists and we're like, who can we put on the list that would piss people off? And like, it was like literally we were doing it to people. And then I've had like, I always have these founders who are like, hey, I need you to get me in 30 under 30. I'm like, it's a link baiting strategy. They just want you to link to the page and send them traffic. When they do these 30 under 30s now,
imagine they
do it in 50 categories
really
now.
Cool
so they're like
90
crypto 30 under 30, NFT 30 under 30. What did you say, Nick?
I said, imagine they profiled like 90 really cool 90-year-olds. How dope.
Awesome. Look, there's me. There's me at 90.
Yeah, that's you.
Looking good.
Yeah.
I like it. I think I look pretty good for 90. But blow that up. Let me see that. Let me see myself at 90. I think I'm going to be like funny at 90. Let me see that. Yeah, I look. I kind of look like my Uncle John.
You already have the temperament of a 90-year-old.
I do when I'm pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I kind of look like a 90-year-old who refuses to retire. That's me at 80, really. It's not 90, right? That would be 80.
Yeah, you look like you're the guy that is at like Morgan Stanley and they're trying to get him to retire because he's making so much money and his like, pension's insane. Yeah,
please
like,
retire, dude. Nope.
He doesn't know how to use Excel. He's been banking since.
It's funny. I was out my emails.
Yeah.
We were talking about Zara.
Okay.
And so I'd pulled up. This is the founder of Zara.
Oh no, this got to be some bad story. You can't be pulling this up for a good reason.
Well, no, I mean you're not balding, but look, you're wearing the same outfit. No, I mean,
I am wearing the same outfit. You're right, blue shirt, blue blazer.
Looking distinguished. This guy's not giving up. He's whatever, $80 billion.
But that photo's from 65. Yeah. That's the key move. Like my photo for the album art on This Week in Startups is never changing, and that photo is from 10 years ago. So the album art stays the same. People meet me, they're like, "Oh, is that your little brother on the album art?" That's what I noticed is like when you get past 40 or 50, you stop updating your avatars. So everybody who's got an avatar or a profile pic, guaranteed, if they're over 50, it's at least 10 years old. You just don't change your profile pic after 40.
I hate how true that is.
It's true. It's true. It's all downhill. You're not going to look better.
You should go enjoy Miami.
I'm going to. All right.
Oh, we're all, by the way, Rachel, Justin, and I are all getting proper lighting for our rooms.
Oh, thank God.
So
yeah.
there'll be an
Proper
uplight
lighting
behind this little plant back here. I had Rachel, my wife, I had to redesign this room to make it more camera
It does
appropriate.
look better. I like your painting on the wall. I'd like
I'm
you
gonna
to
get something behind. I'm gonna paint.
No,
up
I'm
here.
getting everybody neon signs. I'm gonna.
Oh, great!
It's gonna be neon signs with something that I want to burn into your consciousness. Work more, do the work. No, that'd be actually interesting if we each did. What is
I have
this?
Great space for one. Oh, I guess right here.
Yeah, somewhere over there we could get everybody could get their own neon sign with some catchphrase or something. It'd be funny. I wonder what.
No days off.
No days off. That's a good one. I like that. That's not mine, but
Bill Belichick. That's Bill Belichick's.
Perfect. I will. What does it cost to get these neon signs? Like $100?
Yours was like $350.
What?
Because it was custom.
But you can get LED ones that look like neon.
LED ones
that are they look great.
I could fuck with that. So, all right, you get one. No days off, Nick. Let's get like $100 no days off one. See what it looks like.
That's such a hardo move. I don't want one that says no days off. I want one that says something cool.
Well, let's agree on it on air. So we should just come up with one.
Oh God, no days off is just.
How about
a picture of my house? They're gonna walk into my office and they're gonna see a fucking no days off neon sign. How embarrassing!
What about a profile picture of me holding my hands like Steve Jobs? Did you get this picture of me behind you?
Somebody says they need some fresh laundry in the back. Sorry, I have moved my fresh laundry
pile of laundry.
Let
me ask a question. At this stage in your life, Nick, when you have all that laundry on the couch, do you wear it from the couch or do you fold it at some point? Or is it like you put it there and you're like, I always fold this, but I'm going to wear it at some point, so I might as well.
I always fold. I'm like 50-50 on putting away the folded laundry. Sometimes I just pick it up out of the folded pile and wear it.
Yeah, see, that's good. You're maturing. In another 5 years, you'll
when I'm 30. Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit 30, you'll start putting it into drawers. And,
yeah.
Like when you go on vacation, do you unpack your bag into
Never.
I
actually did it for the first time on my honeymoon. I did because we were there for like 8 or 9 days, so it was a long time. But I never
did that until I married your Aunt Jade. And when we
Trader
go somewhere, we're there for 36 hours, and everything is unpacked, and the bags are put away somewhere hidden in the hotel room, and I'm just like, okay, sure. Or you could just leave it in the thing and okay.
I know it. Yeah, my wife puts everything away, and I'm like, you are really making yourself at home here at this place we're going to be for 4 nights. Like, what are you doing? This is crazy. This is insane behavior.
All right. Yeah, always bring a notepad. That could be Justin's neon sign. Very good one, Dusty.
Yeah. Oh, it should just be a notepad, like an outline of a notepad. Yeah, absolutely. That would be dope.
Yeah. Justin notes. Yeah. Checklist Justin. He is I have to say that is he did carve a niche for himself. I was like, these checklist things are important. He's like, all right, I got to do something that this guy thinks is important. I got to find a place for myself.
He is a process-oriented individual. That is Justin.
You know what? You got to trust the process. Do the work. Trust the process. Look at Justin making an effort with his light. I mean, he looks like a serial killer, but it's
no. I need to put.
You just take a lamp. You just took
this guy go behind me, but it's plugged into the wrong one.
I mean, it's just
1% better every day.
That could be 72 days till this looks twice as good, which is still going to be horrible.
Nick got me a new camera.
What's with the Bob Ross painting? I mean, is that did that painting come with the frame?
Holy shit! You're dunking on this?
I'm not dunking on it. I asked a valid question. Did you find that on the street? Did you find it on the street?
No.
He's gonna say I painted it.
I did not paint it. Hold on, let me take a look.
Where did you get the painting? Is what we're trying to figure out.
I think his girlfriend works at an auction. I think she was at Sotheby's. I don't know.
It's a Bob Ross NFT. I agree. Zen Prophet says Bob Ross NFT. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to cut it into 4 pieces, make it an NFT, and then burn it. You didn't hear us.
I don't know. I'll look it up. We'll see.
I want you to cut that into 4 pieces, make each one into an NFT, and then burn it on air. It'll be worth more money that way. Says the guy with the late 90s.
A guy from Baltimore, I guess, painted it.
These headsets, you may laugh, but this MPOW headset has made podcasting all in and countless other. We've suffered for a decade finding the perfect affordable headset that has great sound quality.
We didn't even try and get an affordable one. We tried Charles got ones that were $500, $200, $100. That headset is $30, and it sounded better than every other one of them.
It's so crazy.
It's so crazy.
Also, the ability to do this is just amazing. It just works. Did you see that David for call-in is sending everybody MPOWs now?
I did.
I'm like, David,
the playbook.
Oh God, he's just like stealing the playbook. Everybody wants to steal my people and my playbooks. It's unbelievable.
My favorite thing is seeing someone that we had on like in the middle of 2020 on another podcast, and they're still using their MPOW or the mic we sent them.
It's great.
I'm like, oh man, it's like the best feeling.
That actually warms my heart, because every time they put it on, they're like, oh, JCal. Oh, This Week in Startups. They get a little association with it. What we should do is we should get MPOWs, and we should put, what we should do is, if we had them and we put a This Week in Startups sticker on them, we could make our own branded ones with MPOW.
Yeah, but then we got to ship
them.
They're
currently on fire sale. I bought one off Walmart.com for $15, including shipping.
Holy cow!
So somewhere there's
what's
all
great
these
about
like
them too
Chinese
is you
resellers.
can put them in USB, you can put them in the 2.5 jack, and they're just going to work. It gives you both options.
Yeah,
and they just work. I have like 3 or 4 of these sitting around, and
I think Sachs bought like 20 of them for all of his different houses. So now he just has like a couple of different MPOWs at all of his residences all over the world.
He's just like,
well, they're not the best quality or most comfortable, but
I find them cheaply
made microphone.
Yeah, they're pretty like flimsy. Like you could, Jay, you actually have snapped them before, but the sound quality is incredible.
That was only because I was pissed off because the notes were bad. I just broke them. Like, who wrote these notes? I've never broken anything. I'm not a breaker. I'm more of like a stern talker. I'm a repeater. I like to repeat stuff. I like to give a repeat. All right, everybody.